Ladies and gentlemen, giants and midgets of the world, welcome back to another episode of In the Eyes of Truth. Today with us is Stephen, Stefan,
Stefan.
Stepan.
Yeah.
Oh, one of those, depending on which alter ego he's taking today. Otherwise known as the
That,
Working
that,
Brother or the reincarnation of Gaddafi.
Hey there, entrepreneurs. Are you feeling the squeeze from increasing regulations and higher taxes? Maybe you've noticed the growing instability and thought there has to be a better way. Well, you're not alone, and that's exactly why you need to consider offshoring your wealth now. Imagine a life where your hard-earned money isn't constantly under threat from unpredictable government policies. Sounds pretty good, right? Let me tell you. It's not just a dream, it's a smart strategy. Here at Exit Strategy, we specialize in helping entrepreneurs like you protect and grow their wealth. We navigate the complex world of international finance so you don't have to, from setting up offshore accounts to advising on the best countries with favorable tax laws. We've got you covered. Now, I know what you're thinking. Offshoring sounds risky, maybe even a bit shady, but the truth is many savvy business owners are already doing it. It's not just about dodging taxes, it's about creating a safety net for your future. Imagine diversifying your assets across multiple jurisdictions. When one country faces economic downturns, your wealth remains secure. Think of it as an insurance policy against the uncertainties of life. And let's not forget, having a portion of your wealth offshore can open up opportunities for international investments. You're no longer limited by the economic climate of a single country. You can tap into booming markets around the world, maximizing your returns. But here's the kicker. Time is of the essence. With increasing global scrutiny and tightening regulations, the window for easy offshoring is closing fast. The sooner you act, the better positioned you'll be. So why wait? Protect your wealth, secure your future, and explore new opportunities with Exit Strategy. Don't let the rising dangers in the US economy catch you off guard. Reach out to us today and take the first step towards financial freedom. Because when it comes to your wealth, playing it safe is the riskiest move of all. Thanks for watching, and remember, your future starts with the decisions you make today. Choose wisely, choose Exit Strategy. Catch you in the next video.
uh, yeah.
Not a
Any
snappy dresser as
resemblances?
Gaddafi was, but Gaddafi was ahead of his time. He was
Any resemblance is purely coincidental. That's all I can say.
So, for those who don't know the Working Brothers show, which is a very serious political expose show that comes on YouTube, extremely serious. They talk only about the most pressing issues of the day. I'll hand it over to Stefan which version do you want me to run with today? Steven, Stepan, Stefan.
Stefan, listen, na srpskom je Stefan. Tako, a i prilično sam siguran da je i na ruskom.
Stjopa.
In any
Stjopa.
case, Stefan would be the proper pronunciation. If you want to be Cockney, you can say Stephen. All right, but no. Yeah. So hi everyone. My name is Stefan, as you may have figured out. Also, the Working Brother. Find me on Telegram. Find me on YouTube. Also on Instagram. It's supposed to be a comedy show. It's the worst comedy on YouTube. That's probably why you haven't heard of it.
And
Um,
probably why it hasn't been banned by YouTube woke committee.
so far, I've had my own struggles, and it is demonetized, and it has no prospect of being monetized. So,
The
yeah.
Slavic curse.
What can what can I say? It's full of Russian propaganda, so it'll be right up your subscribers' alley. Some sarcasm, which I know you're good at because you've come on and been funny. So yeah, everybody come on, see what I've got. And there's also geopolitical stuff and all kinds of other stuff.
The only problem with sarcasm is half the time people think I'm serious.
half those people are not even subscribed, so who cares? That's what my opinion is.
Yeah.
Also, everybody who did not watch the talk that we just recorded with Stas on my channel, I have camera issues. I upgraded my computer recently, and I did a bunch of tests, and I rewired everything. And some of my USB cables are playing with me. So I am aware that this camera is glitching out, and I am aware also that I am in the dark side. But if you're watching my show and looking at me for what I look like, then you're not getting the true value of the content. That's why I am in such dim lighting, so to say.
So obviously you lived in the West for a while because the English is too good not to have lived
I
in the
actually
West.
lived depends what you want to call the West. I actually lived in occupied Kuwait or liberated Kuwait, if you want
Oh,
to call it that.
yeah.
I only at the age of about 20, 22 did I realize I was actually a refugee from the breakup of Yugoslavia, um, which happened when I was 7, or started happening when I was 7. That's when I moved to Kuwait and lived in Kuwait for about 25 years, more or less, minus my studies, which I went to Canada for a year, Toronto, failed, and then went to Cyprus and did accounting, and then did another bachelor in management. But yeah, now I'm a comedian on YouTube.
I was gonna say, and the accounting drove you to comedy.
The comedy drove me to the Donbass actually, but then the Donbass and the YouTube algorithm
Don't tell them.
drove me to the comedy basically.
Yeah.
It's legally speaking a comedy, but technically it might be educational.
Well, for those who are worried about drones flying over their head somewhere in New Jersey, it probably is very educational.
What can I say? There are all kinds of things flying around in New Jersey, and
The
none of them
Jersey
are
Devil.
Iranian. Let's put it that way. None of them are Iranian.
Wait a minute.
By the way,
You never heard of
considering
Jersey
you're in
Devil?
Moscow, yes, of course, yeah, yeah. And the Montauk Monster and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, anyway,
That's next year.
say, I was gonna say, considering you're in Moscow, I forgot to ask you when we were talking on my thing. Have the drone attacks on Moscow like subsided at all?
Um,
Considering you bring up drones in the States.
they fly in once in a while, but yeah, for the most part, nothing gets through. They'll shut down the airports because you can't put it past the Yukis and their Western owners to try to take out a passenger plane.
Hmm.
And those things are so maneuverable, so you know. Uh, so yeah, yeah, you never know. But no, for the most part, yeah, it's pretty quiet. You get an alert once in a while, but nothing major. Not
That's
like I
that's
mean
that's
we're not
good.
as good as we're not as good as Zelensky. We sent 100 rockets to Zelensky. He shoots down 500, and then everything blows
Yeah.
up. It must be the rockets falling.
What can I say? Lots of people live in fantasy land down in 404.
Hey, he gets his fantasy at a kilo at a time. In fact, we're thinking about trying to capture Zelensky. We just intercepted a half a ton of cocaine coming in from South America. Oh, literally, literally. So we're just gonna make a little
I
trail
think
of
I
cocaine for
think that
him to follow right into a cage.
I think that news actually came across my feed, and it was a couple of tons or something like a huge bust in Russian history.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, um, so yeah, anything else on your mind?
Well, let's talk about Serbia. So what's going on in Serbia outside of hot girls and lots of Russian liberals?
Fuck, man, the Russian liberals. Can I cuss on your show?
Not too hard, but yeah, sure. I mean, when you're talking about liberals, you've got to cuss because you know that.
Man, like you asked me about Serbia, and like the second half of your loaded question was already like disgusting, and it just brought flashbacks. Man, like one of my favorite hobbies, like I said, follow me on Instagram, working brother. One of my favorite hobbies on Instagram is these Russian commercials that pop up in Serbia for the last 2 years since we've been occupied by your liberals.
You can
Basically,
keep them, by the way.
soft. No thanks. Yeah, no. Either you're gonna have them back to send them to do their duty, or they can keep going further west, because them and their ilk are probably gonna be yeeted out of here, as the British would say. In any case, yes, Russian liberals and commercials on Instagram. So, we are in Serbia, which has its own language known as Serbian. And, generally speaking, people here as an international language speak English. And you get foreign businesses that advertise here in Serbia, and they advertise with English and Serbian, or they advertise with German and Serbian, regardless of what the positions are and where they are and whatever. Out of fucking respect, these liberals, every single one of their commercials, I'll refrain from being liberal with my language, um, basically is purely in Russian, addressed to Russians, and it's constantly popping up in my feeds. So I get under these commercials and I comment politely that it would be very respectful of them to try and maybe address some of the local population as well, not only their second Russians, Drugo Rusianci, as we call them, which are basically, self-hating Russians,
By
which
the
is the
way,
only kind, well, the highest majority here that we
yeah,
have.
for those who don't know, if you learn Russian, switching to Serbian is actually very easy. You take all the vowels out of your words, and you're fluent in Serbian.
Um, and for people that actually know Serbian and that might have delved into Russian, um, it's funny because like over the past year and a half, I've gotten a lot more familiar with the Russian language, as one has to, and there's a lot of similarities and differences. As I mentioned off camera, and as my subscribers will know, I've been to Russia and Donbass, and even when I went there, like having being a speaker of Serbian and then also Macedonian and also Bulgarian gave me like a much bigger vocabulary to draw on of Slavic words or Staroslavonsky words that have mutated and transformed into modern language words. And I found that when I was visiting Russia, that most of these words from Staroslavonsky that we don't use in Serbian because we permutated them or we adopted other words or whatever, the Bulgarians use. And there's this kind of like basically filling in the gap that basically allows me, like when sitting in Moscow, to understand like 70 to 80% of what's being said. You know what I mean? Because you guys have a lot of that Church Slavonic in your old Church Slavonic in your conjugation and sentence structure and pronunciation and word stuff. Like your language has not been revised, but we have a lot of the vocabulary that, like, when I talk to Russian acquaintances and friends, and I tell them like this word means this in Serbia, they're like, "No way, you use that word? That's the old word in the Bibles that are used." So yeah, it's languages. What can you say? It's
Ну,
a mixed bag.
знаешь, когда знаешь Russian, and we have know-how for party on weekend. Yeah, that's how the liberals talk. They take
Listen,
English and they
I
Russify it a little bit because they want to show how
I
cool
did
and intellectual they are.
I did my university in Cyprus. And no shit, I had a neighbor who was Russian, whose last name was Smirnov. Like his real name was Vladimir, and his last name was Smirnov. And guess what he used to like to drink? You know what I mean? But Russian cliches aside, Serbs also drink as much, if not more, than Russians. And also, we mix our liquor, unlike you guys who just drink vodka.
Oh no, why? We
In
we,
any
we mix
case,
liquor. We're now manufacturing our own whiskey. We've degraded
that
to bourbon whiskey, corn
that doesn't
corn
mean
syrup.
That doesn't mean you like to drink it and mix it. In any case, let's not have a what is it called? Pissing contest.
My drink is bigger
We were
than your
gonna
drink.
describe we were gonna describe some more serious topics, right? You wanted to hear about Serbia? I don't know what you know about Serbia. What do you know about Serbia? Let's start with that. I
Um,
mean, no, not what happening now in Serbia. What Serbia is and where Serbia came from.
well, there was this band of Slavs that appeared out of nowhere in about
Not
the
that
seventh
far back. I
century.
meant since the 90s. I meant since the 90s. Like,
Well, considering I did some tourist tours in Macedonia and in Bosnia, um,
mhm.
yeah, I'm a little familiar with the area.
Tourists, huh?
Yeah, yeah, like that Wagner movie, Tourist. Uh, oh, yeah, have you seen it?
No, no, I haven't.
It's the first of a series. The last one was, I think, Best in Hell. The first one was Tourist. So it's about a new Wagner merc goes down to Africa.
Oh, nice.
Because that's the code name is Tourist.
Interesting. What can I say?
So
Uh,
I did some touristy things in former Yugoslavia.
yeah,
Eh,
unfortunately, you were wearing the wrong insignia. Not,
Yeah, but I
not,
knew
not,
this.
not, yeah, that doesn't make you less of a target.
Oh yeah, it did. When I was writing on the Russian, well, it was UN or S4. I'm sorry, BTR 70s, BTR 80s.
Mhm.
So I'm the only. We had our company had a platoon of Russian airborne attached to it. So our battalion had a Russian company of airborne attached. And I'm riding on it. I'm the only one not in a Russian uniform. We're going through a Serb village, and all the Serb kids are screaming. "Ah!" And, I'm in an American uniform. So I flashed them and everything was kosher. Oh shit! Yeah, sorry, man. Call cool. Want a
We're
soda?
not in the 90s anymore, man. I don't know if you noticed, but we're not in the 90s anymore. That shit don't fly.
Shit,
You
motherfucker.
know?
Bitch, you at your
Um,
main line low now.
yeah, but seriously speaking, I don't know. It's a very different world than we live in. So you asked about Serbia. The reason that I bring it up is because obviously, Yugoslavia project of communist British to put down the Serb, the brother of the Russian, practicing anti-Russian stuff on the Serb before they get to the Russian for, I don't know, centuries now. It depends on how far back you want to go in history and how prone you are to conspiracy theories. But other than that, we had a democratic revolution in the 90s,
I'm
and
sorry, that happens sometimes. There's treatments for that.
yes, there's even a joke in Serbian. I wish I had the meme handy, but there's the Jedinica za specijalne operacije, or JSO, the unit for special operations, which was a military counter-terrorist, basically parallel wing of the then Yugoslav forces, which was not military and it was not Ministry of Interior. It was its own thing. It was basically like a Secret Service army. And their slogan was terrorism is a sickness, call the doctor. So, yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
Hey, lots of very prominent people have broken out in color revolutions. It happens. There's cures.
Broke, broken out.
Yeah. Well, look, our friends in Georgia, they've broken out in color revolution. But, we gave them some extra vitamins and they seem to be doing
That
pretty
was
well these days.
That was like. By the way, technically, it's still not over. Like, there still has to be a transfer of power. You know what I mean? And that old guy and whoever is running the strings in the background is still in charge in way back yonder.
No,
over the
no,
Atlantic.
Ivanishvili, pretty much his people are in charge. I'm friends with quite a few of them. So,
Yeah, yeah, I believe it. I believe it. I'm hopeful for it, but
they,
I wouldn't put anything past the EU and so on to set up another false flag or another
oh yeah, yeah.
provocation or like, and then like all of a sudden you get French troops and Turkish troops fighting for democracy in like Georgia and you're just like
Yeah,
go
but
fuck
then you'd get
yourself.
Russian troops and we'd be laying pipe to both of those.
I'm hoping more for Oreshniks. I had a vote on my channel, by the way. Find me on Telegram. Can I do this? Where's my thing? Where's my Telegram prompt? I can do this. Check it out. Find me on Telegram. Um, I did a poll, and
I'm sorry.
we
Was it a good poll or was it?
it was a good poll. It was an excellent poll. We were asking what opinion was on the new targets for the Oreshnik are going to be, and the overwhelming majority voted for Oreshniks for everyone, from the Middle East to the to the Nazis to the command centers to like further in Western Europe, Northern American targets. Oreshniks for everyone.
Because I hear the Poles are very very worried about Oreshniks.
That's why the Belarusians are having some planted.
There was a there was a good meme that came out a couple of years ago. So you've got it's country balls, right? So you've got
Hmm.
Poland, you've got Ukraine, Belarus, and a big Russia in the back. And Saki with her famous, if Belarus does anything, we'll move the Sixth Fleet to the shores of Belarus. And the Pole country sphere and the Ukrainian, stupid bitch doesn't know anything. And the Belarusian's going, hmm. And then the next scene, the Belarusian turns around to the Russian. So I'm going to have a coastline now.
I actually haven't seen that one. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Belarus does get a coastline and bits of Ukraine. I've got a map somewhere that I've been promoting since like month 3 of the SMO with the updated Ukraine
Listen,
3.0.
listen. If the Israelis can claim a chunk of Ukraine, who the hell can't?
Did they claim a chunk of Ukraine?
Well, not officially, but apparently there's been a The only people migrating into Ukraine right now seem to be coming from a certain demographic.
Does this thing that we're recording on tell you how long has this meeting been going on? Like
No,
how far into this recording are we? Do you have any idea?
we've got about another 15 minutes. It's the free version. They don't take my Russian credit card, so
Ah, okay, so it like counts down for you. Okay, because I can't
yeah, yeah.
see anything here. Um,
It only
but
tells me
yeah,
when
all
there's
right.
10 minutes or less when it's already then it
Got
starts to
it, got
count
it.
down.
Man, to answer your question, long story short, Serbia, it's in between Panashinyan and Georgia and Armenia and Syria and Libya. It's like all of those things combined, including
Hmm.
Iraq. You know what I mean? And it's been like that for like 10, 20, 15. I'm not sure how you want to count it, like 35. Depends where you start counting years, and which part of the process we're talking about. And like I said, or like I alluded to, they don't like us. Just they don't like the Russians because you can't make us heal. Generally speaking, there's some of us that heal, but they're not the majority. The silent majority will not heal and does not want to go to the European Union, among other things, because it's just not cool. Let's put it that way. Let's be politically correct
Most
for
of the
your
people in the European
serious
Union don't want to be in the European Union.
among other things. But more than that, they say in the spy world, there's Moscow rules, and there's London rules, and then there's Belgrade rules. Um, and from what I hear, Belgrade rules are the most violent and the most, dirty. So the point is that I'm trying to get at is back to the days of the Cold War and long before that even. Serbia has been the center of these seesaws that are trading power back and forth. So it continues to be that way. And yes, there are a lot of things that are bad that are going on, but they're not happening in a vacuum. They're happening because they were promoted. Let's put it that way.
So basically, what you should be saying is at this point, when Merz, the next chancellor of Germany, and Macron are talking about sending troops to Russia or to fight Russians, at this point, Serbia should be asking, "Am I going to get a coastline?"
So yeah, no, that is the plans. That's already in the plans. On that bombshell, I think I'm not a proponent of Greater Serbia. Like I don't know what it would be defined as, but I'm a proponent of like don't fuck with us, like that little like yellow flag with a snake. And
Don't tread on me.
considering, yeah, that one, Gadsden, I think it's called.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, what's it called? Yeah, the point is many people from many different sides are trying to get their way with Serbia, and so far because of the geopolitical situation worldwide, Serbia has been playing ball with most of them, but I have a feeling both with rhetoric, with Orban and Fico and Vucic saying that they're going to be at the 80th, I believe it's the 80th remembrance of the liberation and the victory over Nazis and fascism. This change in rhetoric signalizes to me a change in the world and the geopolitical situation that may allow for some more autonomous and actually Serb-friendly policies that are implemented by the Serbs without the imposition of our current overlords, whoever they may be at the given time.
Names not to be mentioned. He
I
whose
can be
name,
diplomatic. I can
they
be
whose name
diplomatic.
shall not be mentioned. And then you can fill in the blank
Entities,
who you want to on that one.
entities. Some of them are artists. They're just artists. They do art, and you just don't understand the art, and then you think it's politically motivated and satanistic. Um,
And
they're just
it's just
street
about little
performers.
kids.
They're just street performers.
Yeah,
All right, Stas. Thank you for having me on.
no
I
problem.
hope I cleared everything up.
So let me ask you this: when you were on the Donbass, where did you go? What year was that?
22 November, which would be about 2 years ago. I went to visit Texas, Russell
Oh,
Bentley.
yeah.
I stayed
God rest his
with
soul.
him. Yes, God rest his soul. Unbelievable what happened. The trial about his murder is still ongoing, so we're looking forward to that being resolved the way it should be. And I'm expecting that he'll get at least a fucking street in Kiev named after him. But other than that, yeah, so I went there. I stayed with him. He took me around, stayed in Donetsk mostly. And before that, I had spent like a week and a half, two maybe in Moscow, and then a bit in Rostov. And then on the way back, also a bit in Rostov, and then a week or so in Moscow, and visited the Park Patriot with the cathedral. Got some videos from there and got all kinds of footage from Donbass. Check some of it out on the YouTube channel, and also motivate me in the comments to go and actually put that into a documentary, because I've been sitting on like 150 gigabytes of footage for 2 years.
Now you gotta admit the cathedral is something. The
Man,
army
when I went
cathedral.
there, I knew it was made from molten Nazi tanks,
Oh yeah,
but I
yeah.
didn't realize that it was completely made from molten Nazi. I thought just like the structure from the outside, and then I went and I saw it, and like the floor, the pillars on the inside, everything is made from Nazi molten steel. It's beautiful. It's
And
heavenly.
lucky, lucky when they're planning on doing another wing on it, and we keep getting more Nazi metal coming in, so it's an endless supply. Just
Yeah.
not enough Nazis left to drive all this Nazi metal to the metal plant. to the
They
smelter.
might need to do one. They might need to do one further west or east. I mean, or west maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Somewhere in Paris or in Berlin.
I cannot confirm or deny. I do. This is not a call to action. We're just making jokes.
No, no, we're more serious on this show. We can call to action.
Yeah, no. That as a personal, as a comedian, I don't call to action. I just make jokes about situations that could occur. Like Oreshniks for everyone. That's the best joke ever.
Yeah,
And like the name.
there was
Go
actually a
on.
German member of parliament who said, you know, when the Russians arrive in Berlin for a fourth time in 300 years, what do we tell them this time around? Can I have
Um,
some soup, sir?
no comment. No comment.
Can I have some
Um,
soup?
the new French word for fast is going to be kinjal.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that's all I can say. It's not going to be bistro anymore. Um, so anyway,
Not that the French got any better in service after our troops left.
no, they didn't. No, they didn't. If anything, they got worse.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it is tradition. They are traditional people. In
Just
any
like,
case,
bathing is optional. Let's just say.
worse than optional, I'd say. Um,
But hey,
Stas, anything
but
else on your mind?
the mayor of Paris did say that, we can live with our rat brothers. We don't need to exterminate them. They're part of French society.
Um, That is a whole jar of pickles that if you want to talk about migration and both there in Russia and in Europe as a weapon of destabilizing societies, hey,
Wait, wait, wait,
did
wait,
you hear?
wait.
Did
Wait,
you
wait.
hear that Serbs are famous for ethnic cleansing? Did you know that we are genocidal? Like, hello, we like it was invented for us. You know what I
Wait,
mean?
wait, 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 wait.
So,
I was actually just talking about the rodents that are overrunning Paris.
oh, you mean the mice?
The rats, the
No,
rats, the big
the
rodents.
rats, huh? Not the
That's all
people.
I was talking about. I don't know what you're talking about now, but I was just talking about the massive rat infestation that they have in
I
Paris.
don't know.
But there's
I
other
grew up
infestations there too, but that's beside the point. We're not going down that road.
as a Serb. For Russians who are new to this whole thing, who might be watching your show, um, I grew up as a Serb who was a Muslim killer in the 90s because CNN told me so, and BBC double confirmed it with witnesses and like yellow houses. Go look up the yellow house in Kosovo if you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Also, now it's official. The UN voted on it. We're genocidal. So my question of the year is:
Yeah,
does double jeopardy apply to genocide?
only to the wrong people, the Slavic
Um,
ones.
what can I say? Stas, I think
Yeah,
we've covered enough toxic
yeah, I think we
topics.
did.
Your channel is in danger.
My channel's constantly in danger. We're always walking that tip of that edge of the line, but so far so
Um,
good.
what can I say? It's a brave new world we live in, eh?
Well, yeah. Which, by the way, was as far as I know, was taken off the reading list in the U.S. Wouldn't want the peasants to get any ideas.
Man, it's like ancient news by now, but like I'm guessing like off the top of my head, like 10, 12, 15 years ago, Kindle removed 1984 from its Apple Kindle, whatever the fuck it's called, reader book thing. So like, yeah, like we're living it.
Color me shocked. You know what a Venn diagram is?
Yeah, yeah, obviously.
Okay, so I'd always kind of said this, but I finally saw an actual T-shirt with it. Unfortunately, it's in the U.S., so I can't
Hmm.
get it. They got a Venn diagram, so you got three circles in this case: 1984, Brave New World, and Animal Farm, and in the middle, where they all intersect, is USA.
There's a better one. I can't say what it says on it, but I'll send it to you when I find it. I have to dig it up. Um, but it's a little more complex than that. But yeah,
Yeah,
basically,
yeah. But keeping it simple.
You can print shirts. You don't have to order them from the
Yeah,
US.
yeah, I know. I need to. But the problem is nobody. It's in English, so most of the people here wouldn't understand what the hell is written on there. So,
Gotcha. All right.
all right.
We got
Well,
five
it
minutes
is
left.
way past my bedtime. So
Yeah,
I
thank you. Thank you for having the patience this was like supposed to happen like what, a week ago, and then I had to do other things, then my PC fucked up, and then now we're here. So thank you for your patience and for
a
having
week
me on
ago and
and
a
for
few
coming
hours
on all these
earlier.
times. Right? Um
All right.
Excellent.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Check out
Cheers.
Stefan's. Check out Stjopa's website. I'm going to Russify you. So, right, well, his channel. Websites are so last century. Check out.
Also, check out the Telegram. Find me on Telegram. That's where all the
Yeah.
uncensored stuff is happening. All right. Peace out.
But the French have keys to it now.
Maybe. Maybe.
All right.
I wouldn't be so sure.
Cheers. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.